Okay, I shared, and this is the window. This is my notes, which I should change this one because this is actually the text of uh, where the most fundamental definitions. This is CoSy.f file, and damn the Zoom is I can't change this damned. Now go to Amazon. What the hell? Just something to change that damn background. Um, which was the actual file. Uh, anyway, let me go, and if you will start my time, and I think most of you know F11. Whoops, I got this the shift caps lock on. Shift F11 goes and puts down a full timestamp, but doesn't save everything. This puts down the timestamp and saves everything. So anyway, a couple of notes. This is the thing that gets down here. Uh, all these issues. I think you know also that. I want to get that out of my way. Um, I take it you can see my front page of CoSy there, because then let me.
It's essentially unreadable because half of your screen has got clutter on the right. Can't you go to a full screen display?
I just started this. It is a full screen display. This. Let me go and there. Let me take that out and simplify it because
Well, there's something like 5 layers they're showing. Can't you just go to one layer?
wow. Um, well, mainly I can just go and blow this up. So that takes half the screen, and actually I can also blow this up. Um, got a startup script.
Well, it's blown up, but it's not readable. I'm on a big screen. You still can't read the words.
Well, actually, on the left, I mean, actually, the one that counts is here. Let me go and increase the size of the font. I've got a number of this is the biggie. So if I this
Bill,
is
do you
this
mean
is
the one on the one on the right? I think he means the one on the right is unreadable.
Oh, don't worry about that. I mean, one of the things is that font is a bitmap font from 1979. And so no, it's hard to read. But the thing is that essentially what CoSy evolved from going and wanting to be able to make multidimensional objects and so forth. And so one of the things I did when I was being kicked out of grad school, I solved minimal paths around n-dimensional simplices, which is a generalization of triangles, tetrahedrons, and cubes, which is the different views of well, it sort of gives away but this is the thing is, and looking at Brad's post, again, if I need to, I was just gonna do this. Let me put a 1 in here, and it'll go to a bigger font when I restart it. And let me just go and go by. There. Is that big enough? That's
It's better. It's better.
yeah, one of the I see I needed to trim these lines a little bit more, but yeah, I wanted to first note I put down in getting into, I mean, this is all these different layers squished flat. And that's what this is, that's what my cube logo is. And one of the things in this age of 3D printing, I really am looking, well, that's 6-dimensional, and so two are consumed in that view. So that still leaves 4 dimensions to rotate the thing to get different views from in a 3D sculpture from perpendicular to it. But anyway, yeah, I was, one of the things is I constantly say, hey, if you're thinking of doing something in Python, let us hook up and see why the hell not. If you want Forth to replace C and so forth, and that whole paradigm, because Forth again is a unique path to the machine. It's just, it has factored compiling. And when you factor compiling, you're on the right path. But I made, here. One of the things is you mentioned that your database is 26 by 32 by 64. Well, okay. I'm not surprised actually that blew away. Let me go and make sure things are executing. Yeah. I just created T0, which is the 26,624 cells in a 26 by 32 by 8 by 4 rectangle. So and that's just essentially I've got just a list of the integers from 0 to that -1. But let me go. I didn't really want to get, well, whatever. If I did this, okay. What am I doing? It's 26 dimension. I don't know what it is. Anyway, yeah. Notion of just adding fly class as a type to CoSy and inheriting CoSy's structure, because it's just type count and CoSy will handle the reference counting. Oh, and the tool of thought. Oh, when you mentioned
although Bob, I'll point out the point with the fly class is that it doesn't need to isn't stored on the heap for memory, right? So the goal is, instead of a pointer, you're storing just all the fields inline in a single cell.
Well, again, if you want, well, again, the main thing to go and inherit all the structure of CoSy is just simply, the 3-cell header. And actually, if you wanted to generalize or, sort of make that more specific, so that the first cell is type. And actually, in a sense, after that, you're totally free. But the most fundamental thing is you're looking at having a dynamic address space. So you have to know how big the sucker is without having to ask for a resize, But one of the things is actually this whole thing about types is and class. Of course, CoSy evolved as tool thought. Oh, when you mentioned Perlis, this I got to take the detour off to. Damn this. Let me just go to CoSy. Yeah, go back home. Because maybe reduce that a little bit. But when you mention Perlis, I have to go this quote, because at the top of CoSy/CoSy has, well, this is when it loads is a hello world versus Python, and by the time you've even gotten off to wherever you do your Python editing, it's pointless. But there are a whole lot of videos. Until recently, they're all in Techilog. But I had to go and point out that this quote from Perlis, who actually I overlapped it. He was at this APL 79 conference where also Guy Steele was there, and where I presented my n cube bit of APL. Anyway, the thing is that I start with a bunch of quotes mainly about simplicity, and this one from Perlis is consequential. They're getting down to the. I got a URL here. Sorry, that's for the YouTube. I won't start that. Anyway, getting down here to what my notes for the day really are, rather than commentary. Let me put down another timestamp. Okay, so again, man, the mapping of CoSy, I mean, it's evolved. It's evolved from the whole sequence through APL and through Arthur Whitney's K. I mean, this is another one of these quotes here from actually from Ken Iverson via Arthur Whitney's. Another time when I was concerned about getting credit for some idea I had, Ken Iverson said, Arthur, if it's a really good idea, you're going to have it to shove it down people's throats. And that's where CoSy is right now. I mean, it really is. It's hard to break a paradigm and replace it with. But if you're gonna, we're facing the AI age, and you might as well be working and having your children working in an environment where they can immediately implement the math underlying AI. But at the same time, open all the way to the damned, FPGAs. That's the thing is, long ago, I've seen it as mapping arrays to arrays, mapping metal arrays to silicon arrays. So anyway, yeah, and here again, CoSy nouns are arrays, lists of lists. And actually recently, I've been getting down to these exponential impact meetings, million cups meetings and the Techie Cups group every Wednesday and Thursday morning to actually talk retail to human beings. But one of them who gave a talk and has written, it's got a whole mess of books, but one of them is The Unemployables. And it's entrepreneurs, and definitely my history. But he mentioned, he talked about the design, sort of a data structure as just being trees. And of course, that's what CoSy, that's the data structure of trees. It's just well, again, the type, you could go off on your own by just diverting the type to something else, because that's the first thing that gets looked up in the by the interpreter. But then count is because in general, yeah, because the world is multiples. You can't get by with just iterating over scalars. And actually, that's the thing. Yeah, and any non-zero type is a leaf. So it's trees and leaves and verbs and adverbs that operate. Generally, you want to operate on corresponding leaves of two trees is the most generic sort of a thing. And that's why there are a bunch of these iterators, which I've linked before. Everything is linked on there. Oh, and this is something, I want to get past this, but the thing is, these are some things that I've done recently. I've gone and make it, and I'm continually evolving. So I'm directly with this what I learned of curl from John Peters, was it? I'm starting to use this so that I'll just inputting and outputting directly from the web. But this is the script, the most fundamental. It's the CoSy.f script, but that's where structures get defined and all of that. Something I wanted to this is something that just came up, but it's very consequential. In accounting, I realized I had a table, and this is the number, the length of each axis of each of the items. but I wanted to take the fourth and fifth columns of this table and then find where they were equal and do some other crap on it. But there are two things that are very consequential and, if you will, new, is that in general to go and execute something at compile time and include the pointer to it, this bracket and then bracket plus goes and essentially does those mechanisms. But then this is one of the things that it's long had. If you have just a quote and an XT, I mean, this returns an XT, and then this gets handed to, in this case, each write. So on both 4 and 5, it's getting the length of I should have brought it over to execute. But and then I made a function out of that, but here's the thing that's tricky, is that I've just nested one, this is now nested. So you recursively nested inside this outer expression. And I've never had that work before. And I found out, yes, it can do it, but it has to be inside of a definition. But one of the things is vintage computer, see, I got it down to, I posted in my work log and under that, but I'll skip that because but this is consequential and again, it's in my work log on this date. Anyway.
But were you going to talk about the t-shirt challenge?
Yeah, here, finally. I'm sorry but that's something that came up. But here, I started off by assuming that, well, here's the t-shirt, okay, and here's the challenge was where I discussed it, and this is the link to the thing and so forth. In any case, I said that the first thing that I going to need to do is find out the date that the thing was. The thing is, and I point out here, the whole vocabulary for time, which is extremely, I mean, obviously essential if your market tends to be finance and so forth. But there's a whole mess of words, too many in a sense. Here's all the words that have day or date, or so time differences, days differences, and half of them are in underlying Riva fourth, and then there's a transition. So it's a messy vocabulary. But if I take all those words and then go and the tick, of course, this is the brilliance that goes and returns this verb, which is essentially defined, returns that on each of those words. And then that nub goes and removes any redundancies. So I didn't like that. One of those, I'm wondering why it did not like that. I'll give it one more chance. Wow. I don't know why. Anyway, I'll go on. But get down to it. And you can go through, because this is already uploaded. I use this line to go in my regular diaries to go and pull up all of my previous year's diaries. So I sort of adapted that to just get all the dates, the years and the dates, and on the first date, on the April 22, and then in sorting through all the vocabulary, I found the thing that goes and turns an integer it returns a naked integer, which goes and talks then to the fourth vocabulary, and made this line, which ends up producing, okay, here are all the dates of the week for on that first date, okay, and the years that's true is okay. It was true in those years, unless I've made a mistake. But one of the things is, notice I also went and saved that table here, because now for the August 6th date, because I assumed that both of these were Fridays. I mean, that was my fundamental assumption. But in any case, okay, there are all the dates. And here now, I went and saved that T3 from there and appended them, and then just did a pretty printing on. But everything's off by one. That's if you look at the 1 year, the next year it'll have been right. But at this point, this is where I said, you figure it out from here. Go here are the damn dates, and over the years, unless the thing was before 2000, how old is it? I just looked at the last since 2000. Anyway, that's it. And but again, if you suffer the temptation to do something in CoSy, geez, let's push the having your entire life in forth. And the other thing is, if there's any problem with expressing some algorithm or some thought in a line, that probably means there's a new word that needs to get defined. Anyway, did I hit the end? No, hit the end. There.
I wanted to interrupt you for a second, Brad, or Bob. Brad sort of half-heartedly raised his hand about proposing a solution first. Is that something you want to do, Brad, or?
Sure. I did make an attempt similar to Bob. I ran into some possibilities. Let me go ahead and show what I came up with. So I used the notion of a Julian day, which is the notion of a certain basically assigning a different number to each day. And there's a sort of a standard set of formulas you can get from Wikipedia to do this. And one of the nice properties that it has is that you can take a Julian day and then add one to it and mod it by 7 and calculate the day of the week. And I then for the t-shirt thing, I made the assumption that the first set of days was a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then the second one was a Saturday and a Sunday, and I looped through converting them to each of the different years in the range 1980 to 2026, converting them into a Julian day, and then checking the day of week to see if it matches my expectations, and print all of the years that match. I don't know if these are right, but the problem is, of course, several years come up as possibilities for the year of the t-shirt. So my best guess is that it is one of these years, but I don't know which. So that is as far as I got.
That's awesome, Brad. And it addresses the fundamental nature of this challenge, which is to do it in fourth. I'm going to hold you up for one more minute, Bob.
One of the things is that code is down there, and in a sense sorting through and finding where. But I think essentially the algorithm, you get down to it, like there's this word DOW, capital D, little o w, and I think it's just 7 mod. So it's
well. I'd like to point out that the VCF weights VCF West dates are kind of a red herring, because if April 22nd is a Friday, then August 6th is a fixed day of the week, whether it's a Saturday or a Friday. I don't know whether VCF West that year was Friday, Saturday, or anyway, it should be clear that the day of the week of August 6th is fixed by the day of the week of April 22nd. So once you know one, you know the other. So you don't need to mess with VCF West at all. And the other thing I thought was, gee, when you have a screwdriver, you want to pound nails with it or something. I'm not sure. That's why, many of my screwdrivers have a steel cap on one end.
That's why I just left it as the lists of here are the years and dates and
Yeah.
figure.
So you could go into Excel and make a list of all the April 22nds from the last 20 years. And then you could, in the next column over, do the day of the week function based on those dates. And it should be, from that point, visually obvious which ones are which. Or you could probably ask Google or Grok or something, what days were Fridays, what April 22nds were Fridays. That might get a response. Or you could just go to the answer in the back of the book and go to the VCF website. So on that note, Bob, it's all yours now. Thank you.
Oh, I just got through everything. I'm done.
All right.
I talk fast. I'm trying to get trying to eliminate the filler words and sounds between thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but that being able to recursively, I will say this, being able to recursively now express, I wasn't doing an execution that needed to be done in the line, and it's not pure recursion. It has to be inside of a definition, but the ability to go of each, because that's what reaches down into a multi-dimensional array, is doing each of, give me in each column of this and so forth. And by the way, take a look at my CoSy Any Day responses to Dialogue APL's APL Mondays, because the CoSy is, well, in some cases, simpler than what the commercial APL is. And again, it's open to the chip as only as possible vocabulary.
I was going to ask you what your APL peers and what they think of your APL, especially when they see that it can be more concise.
It's interesting that until actually very recently, when I've started going down to these to talk to actual human beings at this Techie Cups, just sort of a coffee gathering at this Exponential Impact, which was founded by a guy named Vance Brown, who I've gained a lot of respect for. Now I used to get, I was one of the consistent people that got to the British APL Association Zooms. And essentially it would end up between me and Adam, can't remember his last name. He's the Orthodox Jew, actually, who works for Dialogue in Denmark. But in any case, a lot of it is just him doing something in Dialogue APL or me doing it in CoSy. which has evolved. I mean, there's really a very direct lineage from Ken Iverson, who created, well, his Turing Award talk is notation is a tool of thought. And so that's what you look at my logo and you can see some history there, and there's some more history actually that's being printed. But essentially, the real thing is that Arthur Whitney went and simplified things to lists of lists, or essentially, again, trees. And so anything like there is a dictionary type, a dictionary, and more particularly dictionary tables. But a dictionary is a list of two lists of names and values, and of course the values can be anything again. So to go and for instance put different functions on each of those 26,000 something leaves of that data structure is rather simple. I mean, we're really, it's an age for mapping from conceptual arrays to silicon arrays. And this is the most direct path through me and Brad.
Hey, Bob, the reason why I asked the question is because I had a little brainstorm about how people could learn Forth a little easier, and that would be like on the left pane would be on the language that they're comfortable with. In my case, it was C, right, or or JavaScript or something like that, and then on the right side would be the Forth to do the same thing, right, and you'd be able to translate back and forth to a limited subset of both languages, and so
Again,
by that method you would showcase the instances where your language is superior.
yeah. Well, this is in a sense what I'm doing on the hashtag CoSy any day response, which are also on Techie Dome. If you go to CoSy, and one of the things is I'm also posting these. You might have noticed with notes on Techie Dome when Brad gets the YouTubes up, and it's a discuss, so you can go and make commentary on anything. That's going and doing. Very interesting, very useful exercise to go and okay, here's what. Oh, it's actually a case where in a few cases, I think some of these APL things, APL has gotten so confounded the syntax and the semantics that I actually have in a couple of places you can find in the notes. I've gone to use Claude and Grok to, if you will, unwind this APL syntax.
Claude and Grok.
Read it, do it, read it, do it, read it, do it. It ends up being RPN. I don't think AI thinks about that, but effectively it goes and okay, this structure holds together because the thing is, and this is something I saw when I first saw, Forth, having been working on both this PDP-8 assembler and also on the CDC 6400 in APL. One of the things is I saw the brilliance of Chuck's simplicity. First of all, just simply having space as a delimiter, and a name can be any damn non-blank string of characters. Because in APL, it doesn't make that distinction, so you have to parse what the hell, it sticks together. And actually, a friend from the APL world, Aaron Chu, has given a lot of talks and gives talks that essentially show a page of APL to parse APL. and something's wrong when it takes a page of your code to parse yourself, you know. But CoSy needs some polish, in particular genericizing arithmetic input and so forth, so that you can just say 1 plus pi or 1 pi plus, you know, if you will. Or one, yeah. And then the other is interfacing it with the web, getting, you know, ending, stop using its development IPU. Anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, we should definitely, you know, contact me or something, you know, jingle me, go and I crave feedback. If anybody's old enough to remember, you know, little shop of horrors, you know, there was this line, feed me, Seymour, this man-eating plant. Well, feed me feedback. You know, that's what CoSy needs, is feedback, and it needs other minds. I mean, just consider what just getting curl, learning about curl has. Now I got web of, you know, put and get, and I need to flesh that out.
So there are a couple things I wanted. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, have you thought of eliminating the stack from APL? Because originally it didn't have a stack, right? The problem with a stack is it makes everything serial.
Yeah, actually, that's one of the most fundamental things that RPN just simply gives you. And as a matter of fact, APL has been moving in the direction of having tacit expressions, which essentially means that the parameters are right there. But one of the simplifications in an awful lot of expressions from APL to fourth, or to CoSy fourth CoSy, is that the APL will have an alpha and an omega, which essentially are its, you know, are its placeholders and so forth. And lots of times I'll just have dupe and swap, which are dot and the dollar sign are dupe and swap for CoSy level lists. So
I guess the problem I see with the stack is that it stops the parallelism, right? You can compile in parallel, but executing in parallel becomes more difficult.
oh, one of the things is the thing is you can put anything in a list. And so you can always reduce something. You could reduce everything, just, you know, assuming that the input, the parameter to a function is always going to be a list of two lists. You know, the left and right parameters. And there's a lot of language on that. But again, CoSy's open. I mean, it's just sort of as a starting point for, you know, wherever you want to take it. So
I wanted to show off an artifact that I came across in the storage. This is the
Just 1 second.
IntelliSys.
Bob, can you put your email into the chat so I can email you?
go to CoSy.com, COSY.com.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right.
19...
Thanks, Kevin.
Okay. This is the IntelliSys dongle. It has a Chuck Moore-ish chip on a little USB dongle, and it's in the original packaging. I think this may have belonged to Ting. If anybody is desperate to have this artifact from a bygone age,
what chip is it?
It's the IntelliSys. I think they only had one. What was its
I would
snazzy
love to have
name?
it.
Okay, message me. Send me an email.
Very good. I will.
Arthur@comcast.net. And the question you need to answer with that is, would you like this snazzy IntelliSys t-shirt? Also from a bygone era. It's in ultra cotton and it's size medium. So I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. It's going to be the cost of shipping payable by
I'm double
PayPal.
extra large, so I can't.
You're out of luck, but you can have it as an artifact if you want it. If not, I'll let it go to anybody else that's desperate to have it. I don't know with the
No, I'll
way
take it.
with the way Intellisys behaved, I'm not sure anybody really wants the T-shirt anymore. But there was a time I would have liked to have one of these to actually experiment with it. I think that time has passed because the software that support it might be hard to come by, and answers for questions might also be difficult to achieve. Okay. In the last few minutes, I wanted to ask if anybody has some thoughts about fourth day, speakers they'd like to invite, or thoughts about their own talk.
Well, I hope to have the synthesis working on the actual device by then. So that probably will be my topic. Kevin,
Sounds good, Brad.
see Art has his hand up.
Hey, hi. I'm relatively new here. I just want to introduce myself. Thanks for the speakers. Just going through the end item there. I'm haven't used Forth in a long time. My first introduction was doing educational games for an Apple II in the 80s. That got published and released, stuck on disc, and distributed. So I don't know where they went from there. Also, I did some PC hacking using Forth as a scripting language to do emulation, response time testing for IBM 3270s, where I was able to script and respond and drive dialogues and use timers to log how long it took the mainframe to respond on that. But mostly I've come through the digital equipment Microsoft family of tools. And what's bringing me here is a passing interest. I don't have any production related problems, but I'm interested in Forth as an example of a simple virtual machine. Whereas nowadays we have WebAssembly, .NET, Java, and you can go down the list down to Pascal P codes of languages that were written with one level interpreter, but really targeted a higher level language. So I'm looking at Forth that way. It's good feedback on Win32 Forth, but if anybody can throw in an example, there seems to be a bazillion projects. Everybody wants to have Bob, Ted, Carol, and Alice Forths out there, but a simple Forth implementation that focuses on minimal hardware, the 31 minimal words, and the rest of the ANSI Forth and written in Forth. I would be appreciate the any pointers there. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Art, and welcome.
And Bob, I found a PDP-8 Forth, or at least a listing for one, so you can relive your childhood.
What is this?
There, I found a listing for a PDP-8 Forth.
I recently on the minimalist computing thing, somebody posted a picture of a CDC 6400, and which has got two circular,
Yes,
screens.
I used to operate one in college.
Yeah. Okay. So we're contemporaries
Yes,
because yeah, when I
roughly speaking, yes.
on that, yeah. And one of the things is definitely you recognize it as instantly. I mean,
Yeah,
that's all.
yeah. Well,
It's
it was just the toned down version, the 6400.
so in a sense, CoSy evolved because I ended up I was in a visual psychophysics lab making things on well the output was it was a tectonics oscilloscope,
Yeah,
face, but it was a PDP-8 lab computer driving it, and it was the amount of time that I wasted inefficiently a year doing it only had 4K of 12-bit words, but until we got wow, fantastic expansion, we got a second 4K in some form of Fortran that didn't before would run,
been
but
there.
when I saw how brilliant Chuck had been in creating Forth, I
Uh,
could have so much, oh man, yeah. Although,
ADP-11 was built for Forth.
Well, we've
yeah,
reached the appointed hour. So, Brad, would you do the honors of pulling the plug on the recorder?
I will indeed. If I can find the button here.